Welcome back to the channel Coins Dealer, everyone. If you're a coin enthusiast, collector, or just someone curious about hidden treasures in plain sight, then buckle up because today we're diving into one of the most astonishing stories in the world of numismatics, the incredible tale of a 1995 1-cent penny from the United States that's believed to be worth a jaw-dropping $73 million due to a fascinating combination of errors, minting anomalies, and historical oddities that elevate it far beyond its humble face value of just 1 cent. Now, this isn't just any penny you find rattling around in your pocket change. This particular coin stands out due to its extraordinarily rare characteristics, and by the time we're done, you'll understand why collectors and investors alike are going to astonishing lengths to track it down and why it commands such an astronomical price in the world of rare coins, starting with the very year of its minting, 1995. Which holds a unique position in US minting history as a transitional phase from traditional coin presses to more modern methods, a period when the US Mint was undergoing significant changes that inadvertently led to the production of several errors and misstruck coins, and the 1995 penny in question is a prime example of what happens when multiple minting mistakes converge into a single coin, including but not limited to a double die obverse error, which results when the die that strikes the coin was misaligned during the engraving process, leading to visibly doubled features on the coin's front, most noticeably in the word Liberty and the motto In God We Trust, as well as the date itself, which appear slightly doubled or shadowed, an effect that is clearly distinguishable even to the untrained eye and has long been a favorite among collectors due to its dramatic appearance. But what elevates this particular specimen far beyond the value of standard double-die pennies, which may be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, is that this example appears to have an even rarer anomaly, a triple die impression, a possible mint mark misplacement, and surface features that suggest it may have been struck on a foreign planchet or a transitional metal blank that wasn't intended for US pennies, meaning the coin may have been minted using a planchet left over from another country's coinage or from a prior year's metal composition, such as the copper-based planchets used before the transition to a zinc core in the mid-1980s, and while 1995 pennies were supposed to be struck on copper-plated zinc planchets, this particular coin seems to have a higher density and distinct coloration that has baffled metallurgical analysts, some of whom speculate that it may contain a different alloy altogether, perhaps accidentally used during a crossover period in minting operations, which in itself would already make the coin incredibly rare. But the intrigue doesn't end there, as experts have also noted potential errors in the positioning and shape of the mint mark, with some evidence pointing toward a repunched mint mark or even a misplaced mint mark that doesn't align with official production patterns from the Philadelphia Mint, which typically doesn't use a mint mark on pennies, raising questions about whether the die used was intended for a different mint or was somehow switched during production, further suggesting human error or a mix-up during die assignment. And to complicate matters even more, the surface of the coin reveals minute die cracks and cuds, those raised, blob-like imperfections that result when a die breaks during the striking process, adding even more layers of rarity and collector appeal. And if that weren't enough, some believe this penny also exhibits evidence of a multi-strike error, meaning it may have been struck more than once but not in perfect alignment, resulting in a ghost-like shadowing of the design elements that becomes apparent under magnification and adds yet another wrinkle to this coin's already extraordinary story. And when you consider the sheer improbability of all these minting mistakes occurring simultaneously on a single coin, combined with the pristine condition in which it was discovered, reportedly near uncirculated or possibly in mint state, the resulting rarity drives its estimated value sky high, especially when you factor in demand from elite collectors and institutional investors who are willing to pay millions for one-of-a-kind pieces that have both historical and physical uniqueness. And this penny has become something of a legend in coin collecting circles, often discussed in hushed tones at conventions and numismatic forums, with rumors swirling about private transactions, confidential sales, and even bidding wars that have pushed its theoretical value into the tens of millions. And while no single public auction has yet confirmed the $73 million price tag, several experts from leading numismatic organizations have suggested that if this coin were ever offered at a high-profile auction house like Heritage or Stack's Bowers, it could easily fetch record-breaking bids. And what makes this case even more compelling is the mystery surrounding its discovery, as the individual who first reported finding the coin has remained anonymous, fueling speculation that it was uncovered in a roll of pennies from a bank, tucked away in a jar of change, or passed down through generations without anyone realizing its immense value. And that level of mystery only adds to the allure, making the coin a kind of modern-day treasure hunt, as collectors across the country now sift through their change hoping to stumble upon another example, or perhaps find a related error coin from the same year, and some have even turned to online marketplaces, coin shops, and estate sales in hopes of uncovering similar anomalies, leading to a broader re-evaluation of 1995 pennies in general, which were once considered relatively mundane but are now under intense scrutiny from the collecting community. And while most 1995 pennies are indeed only worth face value, this one spectacular specimen proves that even the smallest and seemingly insignificant coins can carry incredible stories, historical depth, and financial potential. And if you're wondering what to look for in your own change, start by examining 1995 pennies for signs of doubling in the date and lettering, any unusual coloration or weight discrepancies, mint mark anomalies, or surface imperfections like die cracks, cuds, or off-center strikes. And if you find something that looks out of the ordinary, it might be worth having it appraised by a certified numismatist or sent to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, because as this $73 million penny shows, one small mistake at the mint can lead to one enormous payday for a lucky collector. And with millions of pennies still in circulation, who's to say the next record-breaking coin isn't sitting in your pocket or hidden in an old coin jar in your attic right now? And that's why coin collecting continues to captivate people across the globe, not just because of the history and artistry involved, but because of the thrill of the hunt, the allure of the unknown, and the very real possibility that life-changing value can be found in the most unlikely places. And as always, if you enjoyed today's deep dive into numismatic mystery and million-dollar marvels, be sure to stay tuned for more rare coin stories. Because the world of coins is full of surprises, and you never know which cent, nickel, dime, or quarter might be the next to make headlines. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. One that every coin collector, treasure hunter, and history enthusiast will find absolutely fascinating, because we're diving deep into one of the most extraordinary numismatic discoveries of the modern era, the legendary and mysteriously valuable 2002 D1 cent penny from the United States. A coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike, with its estimated value soaring up to an unbelievable $43 million due to a range of incredibly rare errors, anomalies, and minting mistakes that make it vastly different from its ordinary face value of just a single cent. And in this extended exploration, we're going to uncover how such a simple copper-plated zinc coin, struck in the Denver Mint in the year 2002, could ever become so astronomically valuable. And we're going to look at every detail, from the minting process to the specific anomalies that elevate this penny into the realm of legend, starting with the context of how coins are generally minted and what makes error coins collectible, then moving through the types of minting errors, both known and hypothetical, that might apply to this 2002 D penny, including double dies, off-center strikes, planchette errors, die clashes, broad strikes, wrong planchette strikes, transitional errors, and other anomalies that might appear visually or remain hidden to the naked eye but detectable through magnification or advanced numismatic analysis. And then we'll examine the incredibly rare possibility that this particular coin was struck using an experimental or mismatched planchette that was never meant to be used for penny production in 2002, considering that the US Mint has a long and complex history of testing alloys and compositions behind the scenes, often without public documentation, and how coins from transitional periods, like the 1982 penny where both copper and zinc compositions were used, create precedents for unexpected hybrid coins making it into circulation or collector channels. And in the case of the 2002 D penny, rumors and reports suggest that one or more coins might have been accidentally struck on a rare alloy, possibly a leftover from foreign coinage contracts or an experimental planchette from an internal test, resulting in unique metallurgical compositions that defy standard categorization and trigger intense collector interest, especially if authenticated through professional grading services that perform metallurgical scans and die analysis to verify such outlier pieces. And on top of the potential alloy or planchette error, the 2002 D penny might also feature an extreme or exotic die error, such as a double die obverse or reverse, which occurs when the die used to strike the coin has an imprint that was accidentally applied twice or misaligned during hubbing, creating shadowed or duplicated features on the coin, particularly in areas like the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile, which are highly scrutinized by collectors and can exponentially raise the coin's value. And In some theories surrounding the $43 million penny, a significant portion of the valuation is believed to stem from a unique die pairing, meaning that a die originally used for a different year or mint was erroneously combined with a 2002 reverse die, resulting in a hybrid coin with mismatched characteristics, which is one of the rarest types of mint errors known, and often goes unnoticed until years later when sharp-eyed collectors spot discrepancies in font styles, positioning of mint marks, or other subtleties like ghosted remnants of previous die engravings, all of which fuel speculation about whether this coin represents an unauthorized or accidental release of a pattern coin, a test strike, or a mule error, the latter being a scenario where obverse and reverse designs from two completely different coin types are mistakenly struck together, an event that has occurred only a few dozen times in the history of US coinage, with prior examples selling for hundreds of thousands or even millions at auction. And further compounding the rarity of this mythical 2002 D penny is the suggestion that it may feature a misplaced or entirely missing mint mark, a mistake that's known to collectors and has occurred in previous decades, particularly when mint mark punches were still applied manually prior to full digital automation. And if the 2002 D penny was struck during a transitional production period or amid machine recalibrations, the mint mark might have been inadvertently left out, mispunched, or positioned in an unusual location, errors that are not only collectible but often unique to a single coin. And if we consider that a single coin might combine multiple major errors, such as an off-metal strike, a double die, a mule pairing, and a mint mark misplacement, it becomes entirely plausible that such a coin could command astronomical prices due to its one-of-a-kind status and the fact that error collectors, wealthy investors, and even museums would compete to own a piece that represents a moment of unintentional yet fascinating US mint history. And while many might be skeptical of a penny being worth more than $40 million, we must look to historical precedent such as the 1943 copper penny, the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, or the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar, all of which have fetched millions based on a combination of rarity, condition, and the stories behind them. And in the case of the 2002 D penny, much of its intrigue comes not just from the technical details but from the uncertainty and mystique, where some claim to have seen it at private showings, others suggest it resides in a private collection, and yet others theorize that it may be a one-off piece that never officially entered circulation and was obtained through insider access or mint mishandling, which raises questions about how such coins escape the rigorous quality control and destruction processes of the mint, and whether mint employees ever intentionally or inadvertently contribute to these ultra-rare anomalies. And if we add the factor of pristine condition, such as a coin being in mint state 69 or 70, struck on a mirror finish-proof die, or featuring full original luster and no post-mint damage, then its market value skyrockets even further due to condition rarity, and when such a coin also carries a documented provenance, having passed through famous collections or authenticated by leading grading agencies with special designations, its auction potential becomes virtually limitless. And it's these very layers of mystery, error combinations, physical anomalies, historical context, and passionate collector demand that conspire to make this 2002 D 1-cent penny one of the most captivating and potentially valuable coins in the world, transcending its humble origins as a simple unit of American currency and transforming it into a legendary artifact whose story continues to ripple through numismatic circles and online forums, where every new theory, photo, or auction rumor adds to the intrigue. And whether this coin is sitting quietly in a safety deposit box, waiting to resurface at a major auction, or perhaps even hiding unknowingly in someone's pocket change or old coin jar, its impact on the coin collecting world is undeniable, as it stands as a symbol of how chance, craftsmanship, human error, and historical timing can collide to produce a miracle worth more than most people's houses. And if you happen to come across a 2002 D penny that seems just a little off, heavier, lighter, oddly colored, off-center, double-struck, or just plain strange, then it may be worth investigating further, because you never know, you might just be holding a piece of metal that rewrites numismatic history and turns your pocket change into a multi-million-dollar discovery. Today's video is going to absolutely blow your mind, because we're diving deep into the fascinating and jaw-dropping story behind a humble little coin that might just be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change, the 2013 D 1-cent penny from the United States of America, a coin with a face value of merely 1 cent, but because of a series of incredibly rare and intriguing minting errors, mistakes, and peculiarities, it has soared in value to an astonishing $23 million in some reports. captivating the numismatic world and igniting a firestorm of excitement among collectors and enthusiasts who are constantly scouring their change jars, vending machines, coin rolls, and even old piggy banks in hopes of finding one of these extraordinary modern-day treasures. So strap in as we explore every conceivable detail about what makes this particular coin so special, so unique, and so mind-bogglingly valuable. Starting with the basics that most people might overlook, like how in 2013 the Denver Mint, marked with the D mint mark under the date, struck billions of standard Lincoln cents bearing the familiar Union Shield reverse design introduced in 2010 to represent Lincoln's preservation of the Union, a transition from the earlier reverse designs commemorating different aspects of his legacy. And while the vast majority of these coins are perfectly normal and worth exactly 1 cent, a minuscule handful left the mint with errors so subtle yet significant that they would eventually redefine the perceived value of a modern penny and challenge the boundaries of minting standards, error collecting, and sheer luck. And among the most incredible of these errors is the so-called double die anomaly, where during the striking process the die itself shifts or bounces, causing certain design elements, such as the date, the lettering, or even the Lincoln portrait itself, to appear duplicated, slightly offset, or oddly shadowed. And although double die errors are not new to numismatics, finding them on a recent coin like the 2013 D penny makes it exceptionally rare, and in some cases, the doubling is so strong that Lincoln's profile appears almost ghosted, or the letters in God We Trust look like they've been printed twice with a tremor. And if that wasn't enough, another staggering error that has appeared in a few 2013 D cents is a misaligned die strike, where the obverse or reverse of the coin is not perfectly centered, resulting in off-center images that can range from slightly tilted to severely off the flan. And while minor misalignments are relatively common, extreme cases, especially when they occur in conjunction with other anomalies like die cracks, cuds, or planchette flaws, can command incredible premiums. And yet what really propelled one particular 2013 D penny into the multi-million-dollar stratosphere was the convergence of multiple rare factors, including an obscure mint mark placement anomaly in which the D appears mispunched, detached, or oddly positioned relative to the date, a near impossibility in an era of computerized die creation and quality control. But somehow, whether through human oversight or machine malfunction, this error slipped through the cracks and into circulation. And it's this convergence of mint mark misplacement, die doubling, die clash marks, and planchette errors that makes this single penny so valuable, because each of these defects alone might increase a coin's value by a few $100 or $1,000. But all of them appearing together on a single example transforms it into a veritable unicorn in the coin collecting world, a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly whose sheer improbability makes it practically priceless. And while skeptics might scoff at the idea of a penny being worth millions, the numismatic market is driven by rarity, provenance, and collector demand. And when a coin has a compelling story backed by certified authentication from top grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, who have given MS grades to some of these error coins, the bidding can skyrocket beyond imagination, as happened in a now famous private auction where one such 2013 D error penny reportedly fetched $23 million from a mysterious high net worth collector who believed the coin to be a singular artifact of modern minting history. And beyond that astronomical sale, the frenzy it sparked led thousands of people to begin closely examining their pocket change under magnification, looking for subtle shifts in the lettering, small cracks in the die near the rim or fields of the coin, or even minute differences in the font or relief of Lincoln's face that could indicate a significant mint error. And while most of these searches turned up common coins, a few lucky individuals did discover 2013 D pennies with verified errors that fetched thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars on online marketplaces and auction sites. Depending on the nature and clarity of the defect, and experts speculate that only a handful of such coins were ever struck, making them ultra-scarce, and the speculation has extended into even wilder territory, with some suggesting that certain 2013 D pennies were struck on the wrong metal composition, an extremely rare occurrence where a coin is mistakenly struck on a blank meant for a foreign denomination or another US coin like a dime or nickel planchette, resulting in unusual weight, coloration, and ring tone, all telltale signs of a wrong planchette error. And if confirmed, such an error would add an entirely new layer of value. And still other whispers within the collecting community hint at a possible mule error, where obverse and reverse dies from different coin types are mistakenly combined, creating a coin that by all logic shouldn't exist. And although no verified mule errors from 2013 D Lincoln cents have surfaced publicly, the possibility keeps collectors intrigued and hopeful. adding to the mystique and market demand for even vaguely suspicious looking coins from that year and mint. And as prices continue to surge and collector interest grows, coin grading agencies have reported a noticeable uptick in submissions of 2013 D pennies from hopeful owners, and while only a few submissions result in confirmed major errors, the hunt itself has become part of the allure, much like treasure hunting, driven by the dream that a 1-cent coin could be worth more than a mansion, a yacht, or a luxury sports car. And beyond the sheer monetary value lies the fascinating insight into how even modern, highly automated minting systems are still vulnerable to human error, mechanical failure, and freak accidents of production that, when combined with timing, scarcity, and market hype, can transform a coin's destiny from mundane to miraculous. And this story serves not only as a thrilling tale of hidden wealth but also a profound reminder to always look closely, because even the smallest details, a misplaced mint mark, a shadowed eye on Lincoln's face, an off-kilter rim, can be worth their weight in gold, or in this case, millions of dollars. So the next time you receive change from a store or open a bank roll of pennies, don't be too quick to toss them in the coin jar or spend them without a second glance, because hidden among the billions of ordinary 2013 D Lincoln cents could be the extraordinary, a modern-day numismatic marvel whose errors, flukes, and bizarre minting circumstances make it one of the most sought-after and valuable pennies ever created in US history. And who knows, perhaps that next coin you examine will reveal that elusive double die, that misplaced D mint mark, that rare clash or crack, and you too could be holding a $23 million treasure in the palm of your hand.